Hey everybody, this is Niclas Huschenbeth, and in this video I would like to talk about the psychology of draw offers. And it's actually one of my favorite topics, so I decided to in fact make two videos. So in the first one we're going to talk about when to offer a draw yourself, and in the second video we're going to talk about when are good moments and what are good positions to decline a draw and how to do it as well. So I'm personally not a huge fan of offering draws. I like to play everything out, but there's certain situations where actually offering a draw is the single best move you can do in a position. So I would like to show you some examples of that. So usually when I offer draw, that means I'm worse or the position is dead drawn, okay? And what we'll see in the following examples are positions where I'm always worse, but I find good moments to offer draws. The first one, and this is a really nice kind of trick you can do when you offer a draw, is by taking a piece. Okay, here in this position, it's my game against Grandmaster Danish Boros. And I take on c5 here. I'm worse. I felt very uncomfortable here in this position. Take on c5 and I offer a draw. Okay, that's kind of a mean trick, because usually how long would he take to take back my queen? 5 seconds, right, or less. Okay, but in fact here he took 5 minutes because he was thinking about accepting the draw. So it's a nice way to steal some time off your opponent's clock, because he has to think about the draw offer and he might lose time here in an unnecessary situation, right? And in fact, this time that he spent here, my opponent actually missed later on when we both got in time scramble and he made a mistake and lost the game. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was really due to that, but of course it helps if your opponent has less time. As a side note, if your opponent does that to you, taking a piece or making a move where you have an absolute obvious move to reply to and he offers a draw, well, you can just say no and take back immediately. I think that would be the best thing to do. Okay, let's now consider a different situation. So this is a very recent game against Grandmaster Valentin Yotov. Just played last December, a college championship. Playing with the black piece, it was a terrible game. I overlooked a lot of things. I'm really lucky that I'm kind of still in the game, having 2 pawns for the piece, and right now I'm taking a third one. And here I offered a draw. And here we need to consider that there was more to it than just this individual game. It was a team competition. And the standing was 2-1 in my opponent's team favor. So that means with a draw, his team would win the match. Okay, and I offered a draw because there's no way he's going to mess this up and I'm going to win. So there was just no way, no chance of me winning this game, and tying the match. So if this was an individual tournament, I would be very sure my opponent would have played on, but because the draw meant the victory of the team, he accepted it. So this is another thing to keep in mind if you play in a team competition and really there's nothing to play for anymore, there's no way you're going to win, you might as well offer a draw if it's kind of reasonable. Here it is not completely unreasonable. White is not completely winning. White is clearly better, has good winning chances, but still needs to do a lot of work to actually convert the point. Okay, I have one more example here. Same tournament. Last round. This time actually the standing is 2-1 in my team's favor. Okay, so that means my opponent needs to win. And here in this position I took on c5 and I offered a draw. Actually, my opponent had offered a draw early in this game and I had declined. And the situation here is that my opponent is clearly weaker rated than I am, about 300 points I believe. And is clearly played a huge role here because he accepted a draw, even though his team needed a win, but maybe it just didn't matter to him anyway. But white is clearly better here after rook takes f6, and I'm having a not a pleasant task here, especially since we're both low on time. Of course, everything can happen, but it certainly seems to be much easier to play for white and not too much risk. So this is another factor. If you are clearly higher rated than your opponent, then this can be helpful when you're offering a draw, because your opponent thinks, okay, this is a good result, a draw against a much higher rated player. I'll take it, and you can get away if you have a worse position, just like I had right here. And then, okay, so these were 3 different situations, right? So one is just a trick, kind of just when your opponent has an obvious move to reply to, just like here as well, actually. There's maybe knight d5, but rook takes f6 seems to be just very obvious, right? Then you make your opponent think about the draw offer, and in this way he will lose time. And then the other 2 games we saw, the team situation can be a factor, or if you're clearly higher rated. And then regarding the position, if you feel like it's like slipping away, for example, if you had an advantage and then suddenly your position is slowly deteriorating, it seems to go from better for you to equal, and you see the trend is just not good for you, then it might be also a good time to offer a draw. All right, I hope this is helpful for some of you. It's a really important topic, I think, or it can be important, and it's not considered, or people don't really think about it that much. If you have other tips on when to offer a draw, then please post them in the comments. If you have any questions, post them as well, and then I'll see you again in the next part when I'm going to talk about when to decline a draw. See you then. Bye. Wasn't off yet.